This is Michael Popok, Legal AF. Donald Trump has a new fake elector scheme. Talk about chutzpah. Talk about brass ones. And no, you're not hearing things or seeing things. Donald Trump and the Republican National Committee is sending a half a dozen or more people who were either indicted or charged with or have been found to be fake electors in their home states. They're sending them to the Republican National Committee to be delegates, and some of them have been chosen to be presidential electors if Donald Trump somehow won the election. I mean, talk about a complete whitewashing and attempt to sanitize criminal conduct of people. That Donald Trump and the Republican National Committee thinks it's totally okay to accept these election-denying people back into their fold and promote them. Tells you all you need to know about the depravity of Donald Trump, the mendacity of Donald Trump, and where this party is at, which has completely hollowed out any of its patriotism or values. Particularly, let me just go state by state for a minute. Arizona has 3 fake electors being sent to the Republican National Committee, including a state senator, Jake Hoffman, who has been indicted by the Attorney General in Arizona. That didn't stop the delegation from Arizona sending these fake electors to be real delegates to the Republican National Committee, almost like a reward for their treason, for their crimes. Michigan, no better. 4 indicted fake electors, including the leading people in their party, are being sent to the delegation, as a delegation to the Republican National Committee to nominate Donald Trump, and some of them presidential electors. Nevada, where they had a judge dismiss the fake elector criminal indictment, 5 out of 6 of the fake electors, including a couple of them being presidential electors, including the chairman of the Republican Party in Nevada and of the Clark County, which covers Las Vegas, that chairperson, they're all going to Milwaukee. And Amy Kremer, Kremer, who's a little shadowy figure there, who actually organized the speech on the ellipse on Jan 6th that Donald Trump used to mass his army, many of them armed. This is where Donald Trump asked to have the magnetometers dropped. Don't search any of his people, even though many of them had weapons on them or found makeshift homemade weapons along the way. He said, well, they're not here to harm me. And then he whipped them into a frenzy on Jan 6. This is part of the indictments against Donald Trump. And then turned their attention, like firing a gun, and aimed it at the Capitol and said, I'll be there with you. And then he walked in the opposite direction to the White House as they literally attacked and tried to burn down a cradle of our democracy. And the reward for that, I think it would be jail time. I think it would be, as I've said earlier in my Legal AF career here, it would be going to Leavenworth, Kansas, federal penitentiary, and for the rest of your natural born days, breaking giant rocks into little rocks. That's what I said. But to the Republican Party, here's your participation medal. Good, your participation medal in the insurrection. Here you go. You get to be a delegate. You get to be a presidential elector. I mean, it is just, but it is a metric to use to evaluate the morality and the values of a party. This isn't just Donald Trump hijacking and kidnapping the Republican Party against their will. Forget it. I don't know if you want to call it a version of the Stockholm Syndrome, but it's no longer against their will. The GOP is MAGA. MAGA is the GOP. You try to overturn America and its will of the people and stop the peaceful transfer of power, you don't go to jail. You don't get prosecuted. You get a pardon. You get your sentence commuted, and you get to go to the Republican National Committee. And so while the criminal justice system is being defanged and undermined by its own United States Supreme Court, it's an inside job trying to strangle America and its values. At the same time, And now you've completely removed any self-policing by the party itself. You've now incentivized an entire generation of your party that thinks it's okay to pick up arms and weapons against its fellow American patriot and fight at each other's throats and put a knife at the throat of American democracy. Judge Ludig, who I interviewed recently, called it the unsouling of America. What better example of unsouling of America that a party rewards its party faithful that tried to overthrow our democracy? It's hot outside, and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, no matter the weather. So you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands, and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Go to trymiracle.com/legalaf to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code LegalAF at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/legalaf and use the code LegalAF to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/legalaf to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. I never thought I'd have to do a hot take on another fake elector scheme. There's an old joke. It was in the MSNBC article I read. Fake it till you make it. Right? Right. What was once fake electors could be real electors. Oh, forget, talk about the ends justifying the means. This is their entire philosophy and approach. Who cares? All the people that attacked the Capitol on Jan 6th and did it with GoPros and Facebook Live and social media and generating evidence against themselves, that's because they didn't think they'd ever get caught. Or if they got caught, they thought their fearless cult leader would pardon them. That's why they did it so overtly in the open, so openly and notoriously. That's why. And so, does it surprise you? Ask yourself this question. This is a thought experiment. Would the Democrats reward people in their party who shamed them, who tried to overthrow democracy, and just send them to the convention and give them keynote speaking addresses and make them delegates and electors to whoop it up for the cult leader? I'll answer it. No. Even this GOP back in the 70s had enough values, right? Enough soul and conscience that they didn't reward the people out of Watergate that worked for Richard Nixon, the people that worked on the committee to re-elect the president, who spied on the Democratic Party, that bipartisan group sent Nixon's attorney general to jail, sent his White House counsel to jail, sent everybody around him who coordinated the break-in of the Watergate Hotel where the Democratic National Committee was located and tried to spy on them, threw them in jail. They didn't, the next year or 2 years later, bring them all up on the stage of the nominating convention and celebrate them. This is how far the Republican Party has sunk. And you have the weight of that. You stand on the shoulders of that depravity when you vote. Let's be honest. You have to take, for years in my party, had to take the slings and arrows of people that would point to the extremists in my party and say, oh, what about this? And what about that? Do you agree? Do you not agree? And pin all of that on me. Well, then I get to pin it all back on you with what we just watched of a 4-year crime spree in broad daylight, the kleptocracy of Donald Trump. And now the movement has, talk about the cart in front of the horse. I'm not even sure Donald Trump's in control any longer. He's just created this giant megalomaniacal organization apparatus, everybody feeding at it, the Christian nationalists, right? The right-wing MAGA federalists, the Tea Party movement, all those entities and organizations that have been out of power and are clamoring or salivating to get back into power. They don't care about Donald Trump. Donald Trump's he'll be lame duck after 2 years. By 2026, he'll be effectively powerless. But all of these changes that he's making in order to satisfy the bloodlust of these people will live on for generations. The Supreme Court justices, the federal court justices, the hollowing out of administrative agencies, the changing of administrative rules that regulate and protect us in our society from industry, from business that only cares usually about profit. That is why you want a social safety net in the hands of a party that knows what to do with it and how to protect it. We're going to continue to follow the fake elector scheme, the rewarding by the Republican Party of those that participated in an insurrection against our country and stop the peaceful transfer of power. Right here on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. We sit at the intersection of law and politics so you don't have to. If you want to know what Legal AF means in our podcast, come join us on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and you'll find out. And then on all audio podcast platforms of your choice. Free subscribe to the MeidasTouch Network. Help them, an independent network without outside investors, get to 3 million before November the 5th. It helps, and it also helps me in terms of our content to leave me a thumbs up and leave a comment and a review. Follow things that I do here on the MeidasTouch Network. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting. Heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know, and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.